15,120. Does that number mean anything to anybody?
Mayor's attendance?
That's a little high, because they're around 12, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. But to some people, 15,120 is a zip code in Homestead, Pennsylvania. To some people, to very strange people, it's a product code for a rose-tinted gold watch for females. But to me, 15,120 is a story that I hope to never forget. Like most stories that guys tell, it starts off because of a girl. It was the winter of 2014, late December. I was talking to this girl. She is super smart, she's witty, she's funny, she's very cute, she knows her whiskey, I didn't get a chance. And we were talking, and she told me that she had signed up for a half marathon. And me trying to get a little bit closer to find some way to get, common interest and stuff, I tell her, oh, I'm also doing the Seattle Rock and Roll Marathon too. I am not a runner. I did track and field in high school, but I did the 100-yard sprint, did a 400-yard sprint, and then I did field events. Long distance was not my thing. I never ran more than 3 miles in my life. So I had 6 months to train for a half marathon in Seattle. The great thing about Seattle is it's got these beautiful hills. Not as bad as San Francisco, but they do exist and they are everywhere. So I start off, I have this huge goal, 13.1 miles that I need to run. I never ran more than 3 miles before in my life. And that was probably once. So I realized I'm not going to be able to run this tomorrow, today, or even next month. I need to break this huge, insurmountable goal into something a little bit smaller. So my goal, I'm going to run 3 miles. And currently I was running 3 miles in half an hour, 35 minutes. Not good at all. I need to get that down to 25 minutes. So I set a goal. In 1 month's time, with 5 months left to go, I'm going to run 3 miles in 25 minutes. After running 3 miles twice a week for 4 weeks, I was able to hit 25 minutes. And then I told myself, great, I need to get that down even lower. So I started running faster, and I noticed that when I run on treadmills, I was able to control my pace a little bit better than I was on the road. Less distractions, I'm forced to go 8 miles an hour. And my goal was that I need to run those 3 miles in under 20 minutes. After a month and a half, with 2.5 months left to go, I was able to run that 3 miles in 19.3 minutes, so 19 and a half minutes. I was very happy with myself. And I told myself, I need to push myself further. I need to turn the 3 miles into 6 miles. And those 6 miles, I set a goal. I'm going to run 6 miles twice a week, and then 3 miles in addition to that. So 15 miles a week. Little baby steps getting me closer and closer to those 13.1 miles. And then when it came time to get ready for that race, I was standing in the front of the row in my section. I was in group, 302. Because they don't let everybody go at once, otherwise it's just chaos. And I positioned myself, well, maybe down the front, like right around here, so 2 people ahead of me. Because I knew I wasn't going to be the first, but I knew I didn't want to be in the middle pack. I didn't want to be in the very back of the pack either. So right when the race starts, I shoot off. I have my pedometer that's feeding into my headphones, telling me my pace and how much further I have to go and how many steps I've taken. At 500 steps, I realize I'm running maybe a little too fast. I'm running around a 7.1 minute mile. I need to slow it down. This is 13.1 miles. Up to that point, I'd only ran 8 miles at the most. So around step 2000, I realized I'm getting kind of in the zone. This is feeling pretty fun. You get that runner's high. It's no longer a chore to run. It becomes something that you just do, and it gets easier and easier as you go. And then around step 6,000, I realized I've heard the same Harry Potter story on audiobook 5 times. This is getting a little boring, so I changed it to some music. Music is great for runners because it lets you just kind of zone out for a little while. You're no longer thinking about the track, you're no longer thinking about your speed or about your day or whatever's going on in your life. You're just listening to music and it's easy. And then around 10,000 steps, I realized I've heard the same song many times, so I get bored of that. And I started thinking of myself and my life, and I realized this is a great accomplishment that I'm doing. 10,000 miles is about 10,000 steps is about 7 or 8 miles. And I knew I just had about 5 miles to go, which was awesome. So my goal, I realized that what are these things that got me to where I was? I set a goal, a somewhat insurmountable goal at the time. I broke it down into smaller goals, and I accomplished those goals. And I realized my life centered around me accomplishing that goal of running 13.1 miles. My weekly schedule got scheduled around when can I run, and I definitely wasn't drinking then because alcohol and running just doesn't work very well. And it no longer became about the girl. The girl was great, but she had a boyfriend, so that wasn't going to go anywhere. And then I started thinking about my life. I am just now starting to be a bartender at the time. I was very excited about that new change in my life. Had my own place for a few months living in downtown Bellevue, which was great coming from the poor part of Kirkland, which I know is kind of an oxymoron because Kirkland. But this was a step up for my life, and everything was progressing. I was constantly improving myself. I was constantly challenging myself to do better, to run faster, to run further. And I realized this is a great feeling. And that whole train of thought lasted me about another 4,000 steps. So I'm at 14,000 steps right now, just 1,120 steps to go. The people who designed this marathon are awful. It was, the last 1,000 steps had to deal with you're basically on on-ramp leading to the I-90 bridge. So you're going uphill the entire way. Just awful. And I'm just mentally trying to push myself. Music wasn't cutting it, audiobooks weren't cutting it, reflecting about life wasn't cutting it. I just knew I just had to push through. So I hit those 15,120 steps, and I'm feeling good. I accomplished this insurmountable goal, and I'm heading home, I shower for like half an hour because the sweat just would not come off. Sleep for a good 13 hours. It was wonderful. And the next day, I'm feeling really great, but also really sore. Like I could not, it hurt to stand, it hurt to sit, it hurt to start walking and then stop walking. Walking itself wasn't too bad. But imagine as a bartender and you're at work, you're on your feet constantly. I probably walked 10,000 steps at least during a shift. And I tell myself, I'm not going to run today, obviously. I'm going to take a couple of weeks off. And then a couple of weeks, you start making more excuses, and it's like, well, my kneecaps still kind of pop. It's a little cold outside. It's probably too hot. And those couple of weeks turn into a month, and it turns into 2, 4, 6. And then finally, year and a half and 25 pounds more, I realized I stopped challenging myself. I had set a goal, I had accomplished it, but I didn't set a new goal. And I look across this room, and I see many people. Who here is graduating this June? It's a good amount of people. You guys have sacrificed something in your life to get to where you are. You don't party every single night like some of your friends might. You don't go out and smoke a bunch of weed, because it's legal now, so no judgment. And you focus. You don't go outside, you study, you accomplish your goal. You're going to accomplish your goal of completing college. And I realized after I accomplished my goal of running the half marathon, I didn't set a new goal. That 15,120 steps should have turned into 30,240 steps. I should have ran the full marathon. That should have been my next goal. So something I want you guys to take around, something out of this story, is that you need to continue pushing yourself. You need to continue setting new goals. After college, don't just let work become your life. Don't get into the routine of going to work Monday through Friday for 50 hours a week. Sit down and come up with an insurmountable goal. It doesn't have to be work related, it could be personal related. If you want to find a long lasting relationship, great. Sit down and think about ways you can put yourself to be in a better relationship. Or if you want to become the CEO or CFO, set some goals. In year 5, I need to be at this position. Or in year 6, at this position. For me, I know after I graduate, by year 1, I would have my CPA license. That should already been done by 6 months. I also want to be a senior partner, a senior manager within 4 years. It's tough, but you set those goals because they are tough, and you break it down into smaller goals. So again, first goal is become a CPA. The next goal is to constantly asking my manager, hey, what is it I can do for you? And then you just break it down. It becomes easier and easier to accomplish those seemingly insurmountable goals. So I hope in the future, after you guys graduate, find new goals that may seem challenging, and then just break it down into smaller goals. And hopefully, like you guys, you'll remember 15,120. Thank you.